All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down this really powerful idea from a company called Galilee Tech. And honestly, it's a total game changer for anyone in a client service role, showing you how to go from just taking orders to becoming a truly strategic asset.
You know the feeling, right? You get a project, you're chugging along, and then, bam, you get that one little email, the one with the massive technical document they conveniently forgot to mention, and just like that, you're redoing hours of work, and the whole project just feels like it's going off the rails.
And that right there, that's what the source calls the us versus them trap. You can see it here. We get frustrated with all the rework, and on the other side, the client gets hit with unexpected bills and delays. It feels like this big conflict, but the truth is, nobody's winning. This is exactly the problem this new mindset is designed to fix.
So how do we get out of this mess? Well, to figure that out, we actually have to look back at how we got here in the first place. This isn't just about a few bad habits. It's about the entire evolution of how we work, which we can break down into 3 big waves. Okay, so it all starts with what they call the first wave. Think the agricultural age. You're out in your field, pretty much working alone. Then, boom, the second wave hits. This is the factory model, the industrial age, and it was all about just following orders. And that's where things get tricky for us today. Because now we're in the third wave, the knowledge age, and it's not about orders anymore. It's all about partnership, collaboration, and guiding our clients.
And here's the kicker. So many of our frustrations, they come from us trying to use that old second wave, that factory mindset for our third wave, knowledge-based work. We get stuck thinking our job is just to process the order. But look, if that order is wrong, sure, maybe it's the client's fault on paper, but as the source points out, everyone suffers in the end. Okay, let's make this super concrete. I want to show you a real-world example. We're going to look at the exact same client request, but handled in 2 totally different ways. The order taker versus the partner.
So here's the setup, and this comes straight from the Galilee Tech playbook. A client asks for a new user manual. Simple enough, right? But they forget to send a super critical piece of info, the API specs. I mean, this happens all the time. The real question isn't if it will happen, but what you do when it does. The second wave response, it's to just, push forward. The order taker's thinking, well, they didn't send it. Not my problem, I'll just guess based on the old version and keep things moving. And yeah, it feels productive right then and there, but man, it is a total recipe for disaster.
Now let's flip the script. The third wave action is completely different. The partner, they don't write a single word of that manual. Instead, before any real work starts, they hit pause and send what Galilee Tech calls a partnership alert.
And check this out. What's so brilliant about this is how it completely reframes the whole conversation. You're not pointing fingers. You're not blaming them. You're actually protecting them. You're basically saying, hey, I want to keep this on budget for you, and let's figure this out together. Just like that, you've gone from an order taker to their expert guide.
And the results? I mean, they're not even in the same ballpark. That second wave path, it leads to double the work, an angry client who feels like they got ripped off, and a relationship that's pretty much toast. But the third wave path, the project is on time, on budget, and you've got a client who is so grateful because you just saved them a ton of time and money. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it, like day to day? The good news is the source material gives us a toolkit. 3 simple, practical tools you can start using like today.
First up, there's the success checklist. Before you even start, you lay out what you need from the client for the project to be a success. Simple. Second, the blocker alert. So when you're missing info, you don't just say, I'm blocked. You frame it as, hey, this is stopping me from saving you money. See the difference? And finally, human in the loop. It's totally fine to use AI for a quick draft or an outline, but you always get the client to sign off on it before you do the heavy lifting.
And what's really cool is, when you start using these tools, something deeper starts to happen. It's not just about preventing rework anymore. You actually start to become a strategic asset. You're changing the entire client relationship.
And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? You go from being just another expense on an invoice to being a strategic asset they absolutely cannot live without. You become the person who sees problems coming and protects their interests before they even know there's an issue.
And when you do that, that whole us versus them thing, it just evaporates. It's gone. There are no sides anymore. It's just one team working towards one goal, a successful project. And that is the real power of the third wave.
So this really leaves us with a choice, a challenge. The very next time you get a request and a piece of the puzzle is missing, what are you going to do?
Are you going to slip back into that second wave habit and just wait for the disaster? Or are you going to be the one to step up, send that partnership alert, and save the day?
Because at the end of the day, that proactive, partnership-first thinking, that's what makes all the difference. It's what turns a good service into a truly top-tier solution.